guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is the most expensive grocery store in America. I don't know where this is. I'm gonna guess maybe California, only because that's really expensive, or maybe New York. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Hopefully it will tell us where. I don't think I've ever heard of that name, if that's the name of the store. Airwan? I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Yeah, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be amazing, and let's check it out.
If you're the kind of person who likes eating food, you've probably noticed that the price of groceries has been a little on the high side lately. However, if you're the kind of person who shops at Airwan, you might not have noticed at all. Because at Airwan, everything is always expensive. What the hell is Airwan, you ask? Well, today we're going to take a look at what it's like to shop at Airwan, the most expensive grocery store in America. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other pricey stores you would like to hear about.
And
okay, time to stock up on avocado toast. Airwan Markets is high profile enough to have been referenced in a joke on South Park, but it's not exactly a household name. In fact, most Americans have never even seen one. So for the record, Airwan is a chain of luxury grocery stores with 10 locations, all in California,
of course,
9 in Los Angeles, and 1 in nearby Pasadena, with that little old lady the Beach Boys couldn't stop crowing
all in
about.
LA.
And when we say luxury, we mean just that. Airwan's prices make Whole Foods seem like a Dollar General. You'd think that would drive customers away, but it mostly does the opposite. Airwan's ridiculous prices have made it the choice of celebrities and influencers, creating a buzz around the brand across the internet and all over the world. Now, Airwan is a grocery store, but it's nothing like the big grocery chains most Americans are familiar with. It does have aisles of produce and store-branded pantry goods. And it does count food like ranch-flavored kale chips, buffalo cauliflower, and a sushi sandwich among its most popular items. But at Airwan, groceries aren't really the point. People come to Airwan just as much for the store's wide variety of powders, gels, and supplements, which include kitchen staples like maca powder, sea moss gel, and chlorophyll, among many, many others. Airwan locations are also popular for their cafes and tonic bars, where customers can sip on a smoothie or nibble on a snack while
How
they
much
shop.
is that smoothie?
And unlike your corner grocery store, Airwan is also known for their trendy branded merchandise,
it's
which
kinda
includes
nice.
things like tote bags and
that wasn't
stylish
nice.
hats. Big deal. At Kroger, you can get X-Men totes. As we mentioned, Airwan isn't for the budget-conscious among us. In fact, you might say it's one of those places where if you have to ask what anything costs, you probably shouldn't be shopping there. That exclusivity
really
is a big part of its brand. For example, your average supermarket will charge you somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 for a 16-ounce dispenser of a recognizable brand of liquid hand soap. Airwan's store brand hand soap, on the other hand, costs $26.
Why would you buy it for $26? Oh my God.
Now, in all fairness, Airwan soap, according to their website, is eco-friendly and crafted with cedarwood, lavender, orange, and rosemary essential oils.
Wow,
But for damn near $30, it had better make your skin bulletproof, like Luke Cage, or to a lesser extent, Blank Man's costume. And it's not just the soap. A 6-pack of Coke can cost somewhere around $6 or $7 at a regular supermarket. But a 6-pack of Airwan soda, which comes in ginger, green apple jasmine, and watermelon lime, among other flavors, will run you 35 big ones, roughly $6 per bottle. Why so much? Well, according to the website, the soda is packed with 24 probiotic strains, and it supports a healthy microbiome, enhancing digestive wellness. Pretty sure Coke doesn't do that. But that is just the tip of the eye-poppingly priced iceberg at Airwan. A gallon of milk will set you back $20. A 64-ounce bottle of water is $26. And 32 ounces of orange juice cost $15. Breakfast has already cost you a tank of gas, and you haven't even made it out of the beverages yet. Speaking of which, if that sounds nuts to you, wait till you hear what the nuts cost. It's 25 smackaroos for 18 measly ounces of almonds. Also, 17 ounces of balsamic vinegar will run you 50 clams. 16 ounces of yogurt will cost you 24 simoleons. I cannot believe it. And 32 ounces of meat.
Even if you have money, like, why are you shopping there? Like, is it actually generally that much better? Like, does it taste better?
syrup will drain you of 43 greenbacks. Heck, the same rotisserie chicken that even Whole Foods only has the stones to charge $12 for costs $22 at Airwan. Which is all to say, coupon clippers need not apply. But why
yeah, I
did
wouldn't
being
be
so
shopping there.
expensive most human beings can't shop there become part of Airwan's DNA? To answer that, we need to go back in time a bit.
Okay.
In 1872, the English writer and critic Samuel Butler released what would wind up being his most famous and influential work, the satirical novel Airwan. An anagram for nowhere, Airwan was the name of a fictional country where every citizen is required to maintain their own health and can be criminally prosecuted for getting sick. That connection to the idea of a person maintaining their own health inspired Aveline and Michio Kushi to use the name Airwan for the new, health food-oriented supermarket they founded in Boston, Massachusetts in 1966. The Japanese couple, who today are widely credited with kicking off the macrobiotic lifestyle movement, were concerned that the nutritional value of food had been declining since at least the early 1900s. It was those concerns, and a desire to monetize those concerns, that led the pair to open the first Airwan. The original location was not much more than a small stall with a counter and a few shelves in a basement market. But the business was successful,
start from the
and
bottom.
the Kushis were able to quickly relocate. First to a larger building across the street, and later they packed up the truck and moved to Los Angeles. California, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars. But life in the big city was tough, and the initial success was followed by decades of financial struggle. The business was mismanaged, and it didn't help much that the Kushis were holding the macrobiotic diet as a cure for AIDS.
So
which
is
is
it better for you then? Let me know in the comments. I don't know.
not. The store went bankrupt and then was sold to employee Tom DeSilva in the early 1980s.
Oh.
DeSilva and his wife then turned Airwan into a kind of new agey place where you couldn't buy red meat because it was poisonous, but you could buy American Spirit cigarettes because they were organic. Wait, has anyone tried smoking red meat? But the Airwan story really begins in 2011, when De Silva's widow sold the last remaining store to Tony and Josephine Antocci. The Antoccis had just made a fortune selling their Italian foods business and bought the LA location on what was essentially a whim. Nonetheless, the savvy couple would be the ones to turn the place into the upscale supermarket we know it as today.
Okay, it's up to them. They
The
still own it?
Antoccis didn't change Airwan into a trendy shopping destination for people with disposable income overnight. The transformation arguably started in 2014, when they opened their second location in the foothills of Calabasas, which is the kind of place you're likely to run into a Kardashian. Then in 2018, Kanye West mentioned the store in a tweet, sending legions of his fans scrambling to get Airwan merch, which at the time only existed in bootleg form. But what really helped turbocharge the chain's popularity was the COVID-19 pandemic, which arrived in 2020 and made grocery stores one of the few places outside of the home people could still visit. The pandemic encouraged Airwan to make more use of online influencers. And to that end, they partnered on a celebrity smoothie with the well-known TikTok creator, Tinks. If you're over the age of 30, most of these words are a total mystery. But the promotion was so successful that celebrity smoothie partnerships have since become a regular centerpiece of the Airwan brand. Celebrities like Bella Hadid and Kourtney Kardashian have gotten in on the fun, and the smoothies, which will lighten your wallet by somewhere between $11 and $20, remain Airwan's most buzzworthy product. In 2022, for example, Airwan exploded on TikTok after the Hailey Bieber-endorsed strawberry glaze smoothie went viral, kicking off a tidal wave of Airwan-themed content that earned hundreds of millions of views. The combination of the high prices and the high-profile endorsements have made Airwan the kind of place where celebrities are regularly spotted, including folks like Miley Cyrus, Cara Delevingne, Jake Gyllenhaal, A$AP Rocky, and Hilary Duff. The company makes no apologies for the fact that it caters to wealthy celebrities and influencers, and the strategy has cemented the chain's image as a trendier, more exciting, basically Cartman land for rich people. So what's it like to shop where Jake Gyllenhaal shops? Well, Airwan locations have often been described as beautiful. The stores are relatively small, and according to the company, each location is specifically designed for the surrounding neighborhood. Keeping with the greater theme, the interiors are done with natural materials.
Yeah, it looks all
areas
tidy.
like food kitchens are left exposed, reassuring consumers their prepared foods have nothing to hide. The shelves are lined with picturesque products that have packages which would appease the palate of even the pickiest graphic designer. And the produce often looks virtually untouched, which is probably because most of it is. That's because most of Airwan's clientele don't come to Airwan for the groceries. Prepared foods are much more popular, and it's not unusual to find those sections of the store far more crowded. As we've repeatedly mentioned, the prices almost defy reason. One TikToker found that even a relatively small haul of groceries could cost nearly $400, while another spent over $1,000 on just the ingredients for nachos. Although, in fairness, they did use an entire tin of caviar in their recipe. For those with weeping wallets, $100 can buy you a cafe membership, which includes a 10% discount on everything you buy, plus one free drink a month. And because this is Airwan, there is always a more expensive product to buy. In this case, it's the highly exclusive Membership Plus program. Given the store's already astronomical prices, the so-called discount program,
not really a lot
which
of discounts,
doesn't really save you all that
$200.
much, has proven to be somewhat controversial. Which brings us back to our initial question. Why is the food at Airwan so damn expensive? Well, according to the company, the food costs as much as it does due to the cost of the high-quality ingredients they use. And there's probably at least some amount of truth to that.
I guess then if you can afford to pay for better quality food, then I guess why wouldn't you? Maybe that's the way they see it.
But critics have suggested that the food at Airwan is so pricey because what they actually sell is the notion that expensive things are better. It's called perceived value, an old salesman's trick that fools customers into thinking an expensive product is of higher quality than a more affordable one.
Yeah, that is true.
And it's hard to believe that the people behind Airwan would be totally unaware of it. The other, much less charitable criticism is that the point of the store's high prices is to keep out the poors. Airwan's exclusionary pricing all but guarantees that only the mega wealthy can afford to shop there, regardless of whether that was the intent. And while we understand that Tom Cruise can't exactly shop in peace at the local Ralph's, not that he does his own shopping, the rest of us will just have to fog up the windows staring in from the outside. So what do you think? Would you ever shop?
That was good. I didn't know about that shop at all, so I learned something new there. Let me in the comments below if you knew about it. Let me know if you've ever shopped there. We should have definitely checked it out in LA when we went if we'd have seen it, but we definitely wouldn't have fitted in that shop. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and have a fantastic day.